Hello everyone, welcome to the Comcern podcast where we unpack political, social, economic and cultural stories shaping our world. I'm Emmanuel Taban. Now, it is very interesting that next week on the 15th, Uganda is heading towards a general election, the Pearl of Africa. And it looks like the contest is drawn between two men, and that is none other than the incumbent president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the leader of opposition, or the opposition leader, Bobi Wine, or Robert Chagulanyi of the National Unity Platform. Now, of course, there's so many presidential candidates who are vying in these elections, but it looks like majority of them are underdogs, and the battle will only be between Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is the incumbent, and Robert Chagulanyi or Bobi Wine. Now, Museveni is running for his seventh term. And should he win these elections, I think it's going to make him the longest serving president, or the longest president to have served in the entire continent. I don't know. But yeah, that is President Museveni for you. He's running for the seventh term. And the opposition leader, Robert Chagulanyi, is actually trying his second luck. He was there in the previous elections, in the 2021 elections, and he is trying his second chance, contesting in this election or vying in this election. And this appears to be a rematch of the previous elections, because the major contest was also between Bobi Wine and the incumbent President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and that seems to be a repeat this cycle. But President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is running on a platform. He is vowing to protect the gains, and that is the slogan, the political slogan that he has actually displayed in these elections, that he is protecting the gains, perhaps the gains that he had actually attained right from 1986 when he got into power. And on the other hand, Bobi Wine or Robert Chagulanyi is running completely on a different platform, and which is making Uganda a new country, or a new Uganda now. That is the political slogan of the National Unity Platform, or Bobi Wine, and that is the platform that he is running on right now. And looks like this contest is between the old and the young. It's between, it's clearly seen. We can clearly see in all the slogans and all the, the candidates and all this, And in this video, I want to tell you 4 things that are likely to happen. Maybe close to the elections, or during the elections, and a few days after the elections. These 4 things might happen next week as we see the country gets into that day of election. But before we proceed, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, please subscribe, hit on the notification button, like, comment, and if the videos interest you, share with your colleagues, share with your circle. It's a way of making the channel grow, and when it grows, it motivates us to make more videos back to back. And back to our video, I'm going to tell you 4 things that are likely to happen close to the elections, or during the elections, and immediately after the election. And this is completely, drawn from experience of the previous elections that Uganda held. Number 1 thing that is likely to happen, maybe close to the elections, or even during the elections, or after the election, is 1, we are likely to see a heavy deployment of military men or police in Uganda. And this will mainly happen in opposition strongholds. We're going to see heavy military personnel and vehicles deployed in most of these opposition strongholds. And the reason why this is going to be done is simply because the regime might have the fear of this opposition. If they are given the luxury to do things on their own, they might plan for, for things that will actually give the government of the day a sleepless night and a very hard time. So the need to counter that can only be done through a deployment of police, and this police will make sure that all the operations of the oppositions are checked, what they do on the ground is known, and in case of any mobilization for protest or anything, this can be shut down. And for this reason, we are likely to see that in opposition strongholds, like mainly in the central districts, we are likely to see heavy deployment of military personnel and police, or even the Special Forces Command, the CFCs, which is a special security personnel for the president or so forth. I mean, we are likely to see that done in the opposition strongholds. That is one thing that might be done before elections or even during the elections, especially before elections and during the election. This will happen or might happen. The second thing that we are likely to see happen is that we may see the internet shut down in Uganda. We may see, I mean, this happened in the previous election. On the 13th of January 2021, internet was shut down for nearly 4 days. It was shut down on the 13th and reopened on the 18th. And the reason why the government is going to do this is simply for three reasons. One, they want to control the narrative, and the narrative is they just want to make things done in a way that the world doesn't see about it. They want to control the narrative that maybe they are winning, or the government or the incumbent is actually going to win the elections, and that in case of anything happen, people shouldn't know about it. The second reason why they're going to do this is they want to prevent the international community from seeing whatsoever is going to happen. I mean, in case of rigging or abuses, or if there are irregularities that are going to happen, shutting down the internet is going to reduce that. The international community is not going to be seeing exactly what will be happening in the country, and this will reduce a lot of pressure from the international community in the aftermath of the elections. So we are likely to see this happen as well. And the other reason why the internet might be shut down is because they very well know how powerful the social media is in mobilization, especially when it comes to young people. So when these young people are given the chance to use the internet in whatever way they want, and in a case where the president or the incumbent is announced the president, even when he has not won the election, we are likely to see a heavy protest, mobilization, and a repeat of what happened in Tanzania. So in order to reduce that, in order to counter the possibility of having protests and mobilization, the government might shut down the internet close to the day of election or even during the election. And that is also to prevent the scrutiny, just like I said, from international community, but also even from people back home on the ground. So the possibility of shutting down the internet is very high as the country heads towards the election. The third thing that might happen in Uganda, as the country heads towards the election or after the election, is we are likely to see Bobi Wine arrested. We are likely to see Bobi Wine arrested. And that happened in the previous election. And the reason why this is going to happen is simply because they fear that when Bobi Wine is left freely, he will do lots of mobilization which might spark into protest in the country. So in order to prevent that, and I know the claims that they are going to give. One of the reasons is that in order to prevent public disorder, they're going to take Bobi Wine and maybe keep him detained in his home, or even taken to prison for some time until the announcement of the presidential results is done. So we are likely to see that happen as well in Uganda. That the opposition leader, especially Bobi Wine, might be arrested and kept in detention, house arrest, or even in jail, just for no good reason, but to try to create that calm and give the government the opportunity to manipulate things. So we are likely to see that happen, that the opposition leader or Bobi Wine is likely to be arrested close to the elections or during the election. That is likely to happen. The last thing that the likelihood is 90%, is one, we are likely to see President Museveni be announced as the winner of these elections. We are likely to see that the incumbent president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is announced as the president, even if the results does not favor him. But we are likely to see that President Museveni will be announced as the next president of Uganda again. And the reason why I'm saying this, because what I mentioned in one of my videos that in the African context, you don't need to be popular, you don't need to be smart, you don't need to be the most liked to win an election. In the African context, you need three things. In the African politics, to win an election in Africa, you need three things. One, you need to be in control of the state machineries. You need to be in control of the state institution. You need to control the Electoral Commission. You need to control the judiciary. You need to control the military or the army or even the police. And all these three apparatus seems to be under Museveni. The Electoral Commission seems to be controlled by him. The military or the army seems to be controlled by him. And even the judiciary as well. So the likelihood of Museveni being announced as the winner of these elections is very, very high. In fact, very high. And if the opposition will write an appeal contesting the results of the election through a judicious way, they will still fail. They will still not win. So these are the things that are likely to happen close to the elections, during the elections, or after the election. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I'm Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Comcern podcast. On our business section for today, are you a South Sudanese parent living in Uganda who desires to preserve your child's national identity, cultural values, and academic continuity without sending them back to South Sudan? Then worry no more. Excel International School proudly offers South Sudanese families in Uganda the opportunity to access the South Sudan national curriculum in a secure, nurturing, and academically enriching environment right in Uganda. As you pursue stability and opportunity in Uganda, your children can continue their education seamlessly following the South Sudan syllabus, guided by qualified, experienced teachers who understand both the academic standards and cultural foundations of South Sudan. At Excel, they deliver genuine South Sudan curriculum, strong moral and academic foundation, experienced and culturally grounded educators, safe and supporting learning environment, and convenient campuses both in Kampala and Arua. For the Kampala campus, they are located at Zambia opposite the American Embassy, or you can contact the principal at 077-168-2831 or 074-2288-712. And the Arua campus is located at Adalafu in Arua City, or you can contact the management at 077-3498-768. Admission for the 2026 and registration for the 2026 academic year is ongoing. Parents are encouraged to register early as places are limited. Give your children an education that connects them to home, heritage, and hope without borders. Excel International School. Fear God to excel.